So then, Chelsea want Alexander Isak. Had away and shite. Sod off. Hi everybody, this is the Toon Review and Newcastle United latest news show. My name's Paul, thank you very much for tuning in. As usual, if you do enjoy the video, hit that thumbs up button for us. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. But don't forget to hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we schedule the live shows in or we upload any videos such as this one. Right, let's get straight into it. So the reports have broken today that Chelsea are interested in taking Alexander Isak to Stamford Bridge. This news broke in many different media outlets. It's been covered by Northeast reporters and across the UK. But Newcastle United remain confident of actually agreeing a new contract with Isak. We know that there's some sort of talks going on for a new contract. There was conversations at the end of the season between the chairman and Isak himself. We saw a little conversation on the pitch. We know that they met again after the game. And Newcastle United remain very confident that they can get Isak to sign a new contract. Now, the initial approach from Chelsea, there's no real valuation there at the moment or transfer fee. All that the reports are saying is that Chelsea, of course, spent 115 million or whatever it was on Caicedo. He is their biggest investment so far. However, they would have to absolutely smash that to get Isak out of St James's Park. We all know that. We all know how much Isak is valued at in our own heads, never mind what Newcastle United think of him. So I don't think this is going to happen. I think Chelsea, it is just an initial inquiry, and I hope that Newcastle United just turned around and said, get lost, in the nicest possible way. Now, Isak himself, remember, spoke at the end of the season to sort of put any minds at rest about him leaving, because, you know, we saw all those Arsenal Photoshop things with Isak in an Arsenal shirt, and we all know that was a load of crap. What Isak said was, I don't want to entertain these types of questions and rumours. Now, this was at the sort of after the season had ended. When he was asked about his position directly. He said, it's not my position. I love playing. There's no focus on a possible move. I just want to do well for the team. And of course, he went on to say how much he loves Newcastle. He loves the area. He loves the fans. He loves the club. And there isn't any indication at all that the Swede wants to leave Newcastle United. He thoroughly enjoys his football here, and he has an opportunity to become a real legend at the football club. Just like Bruno does, Joe Linton, etc. These types of players will be looking at that. But they'll also be watching who Newcastle United bring in. Now, there's all been worry about, you know, the Calvert-Lewin links and things like that, thinking, well, what will Bruno and Isak, etc., think of these links? Are these the players that they expected Newcastle to chase in the summer to be up there in Europe and challenging for the Champions League and league titles like these players want to do? This is the project that we sold to these players when we brought them in. But there's a little bit of worry amongst the fan base that maybe, you know, being linked with these players is just kind of knocking them back down the ladder a bit, saying, well, hang on a minute. If we're in for these kind of players, these aren't exactly elite world-class players, and we're not going to be challenging. But they'll also know that we need to build a squad at Newcastle United. That is the big thing. They will also know that we need to build. Now, Isak's contract at the moment is until 2028. Of course, he penned a 6-year deal when he signed. So, for me, there's loads of time left on that contract. The only problem I could ever see with this situation is if Isak himself said to Newcastle United, yes, I want to go. I'm interested in a move to Chelsea, and then the player becomes unhappy if Newcastle don't allow it, and we know, you know, players unhappy and unrest in the dressing room. That's not what we're all about in Newcastle United these days. But Isak does, you know, he's not even saying that at the moment. He's not anyway. But, you know, why would he change his stance or how he feels about the club into a few weeks of the postseason, given what he said when the season finished? So I don't think this is going to happen, guys. I think it's very much Chelsea just trying to rattle Arsenal a bit and just say, right, well, if you're not going to make a move for him, we will, and see what happens. But I don't know why that would particularly rattle Arsenal. I mean, there's no way Arsenal can afford to get Isak out of St James's Park either. But you have to wonder where all this money for Chelsea's coming from. You know, there's a lot of clubs at the moment scrambling to get everything done and dusted by the PSR deadline, right? There's loads of clubs. We know there is. You know, Everton is struggling, and we've heard Villa, of course, they've had to sell players, you know, to cope with PSR. So we know that Newcastle United probably do have to sell somebody. but it's not going to be Isak. We know that they're shopping Minte at the minute. Minte's linked with a £40 million move to possibly Roma or possibly Lyon in France. Those talks are probably ongoing behind the scenes, although it's gone a little bit quiet of late. So for me, I don't think there's anything to worry about for Newcastle fans. I'm not particularly worried that we're going to lose Isak to Chelsea. I think the money that it's going to cost Chelsea to get Isak out of Newcastle, or anybody for that matter, to come in for Isak, they're not going to get him. They're going to have to pay literally millions. We as Newcastle United fans have an indication of how much Isak's worth. And to be honest, Caicedo's their biggest signing at 115 million. We know it's a lot more than that if they're going to try and get Isak out of Newcastle United. It's ridiculous. Newcastle apparently are adamant that they don't want to lose Isak. Of course, they scored 23 goals last season, and that puts my mind at rest straight away. Knowing that Newcastle United don't want to sell. He's under contract. And what Newcastle United are more concentrating on doing is actually offering him a new contract, and it will probably be an exceptional wage rise, etc. Of course, Isak's 24. They reckon that they're going to have to break the £200 million barrier to sign Isak. That's the kind of valuation that Newcastle hold on him. There's no possible way. I'd be incredibly amazed if Chelsea came in with an offer of £200 million. And then you kind of think to yourself, well, hang on a minute. If Chelsea are offering $200 million, the flip side of the coin is, do we then say, yeah, $200 million, we'll take that? Because that opens up a whole host of money for Newcastle United to spend in the transfer window. But, let's be honest, we don't want to sell him. We don't want to sell him at all. I mean, $200 million is a lot of money, isn't it? But, if we want to be an elite side, we do not want to sell Isak at all. And I genuinely don't believe he'll be going anywhere. So that's just my view on things. Now, in this other news, Callum Wilson, of course, who has been very heavily linked with West Ham. West Ham apparently been told round about $10 million for Callum Wilson. Now, initially, when Callum Wilson was shopped around, we all thought, or it was all reported, that £20 million would be probably the kind of price tag that we'd be looking for to get Callum Wilson. However, West Ham have been put off, about the $10 million. I know he's had injury problems, etc. And that's what West Ham are claiming is the problem with that £10 million price tag, is the fact that his injury record and, can he stay fit? But $10 million for Callum Wilson? I mean, nah, come on. He's worth more than that. I know he's had his injury problems, but, I mean, West Ham, they're adamant that they're targeting him, but the problem is they're going to get competition now, according to this report from Saudi Arabia. There's clubs in Saudi willing to match Newcastle United's valuation of the player. Now, whether that be £10 million or a little bit higher, remember we sold Maxi to Saudi Arabia, and I thought that was very much on the cheap, indeed. So for Callum Wilson, I've always thought 15 to 20, certainly in this transfer window. Let me know what you think, because I think 15 to 20 for me is probably around the right lines, but not 10. I think 10's a little bit scrimpy, if you ask me. I don't believe that for a second. The 10 million is what we're looking to get. Now, finishing off on England, okay? Anthony Gordon. We saw him come on last night for the final minute of normal time, and then, of course, he played the injury time. Created a really good opportunity while he was on the pitch. Looked hungry to take players on. Cole Palmer also. Now, I saw a very, very strange report today that Harry Redknapp was flying out to Germany, and they were going to fire Gareth Southgate with Harry Redknapp taking over for the rest of the tournament. Now, listen, I wish that would be true. Honestly, I do, because I can't wait to see the back of Southgate. The football is dreadful. But, it's very rare that a manager gets sacked during the tournament. I think we've just got to put up and shut up with Gareth Southgate for the rest of the tournament. But you know what it is? It's strange. It's just dreadful to watch. But I'm not going to keep talking about England because it's boring anyway. Now, there is rumours going around, of course, about Kieran Tripper as well, that his marriage is on the rocks due to his wife Charlotte unfollowing him on social media, sharing various cryptic posts. What I would say is, really is nothing to do with us. Kieran Trippier's private life is nothing to do with us, and some of the speculation that I see going around social media is bollocks again. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes in Kieran Trippier's life, and why should we? We don't have any privileges to know what's going on in Kieran Trippier's private life. If he's having marriage problems, he's having marriage problems. It's nothing to do with the football at all in Newcastle United. So I think some of the fans that are jumping on the bandwagon here, just saying things on social media, I think it's very wrong, guys. Just whatever's going on in Kieran's private life, that's how it should stay. Very, very private. But there you go. That is the news today. Let me know in the comments what you think about Chelsea's little move for Isak. Do you think it's a cheeky little move to try and unsettle him? Let me know what you think in the comments. But thank you very much for watching. As I said at the start, if you have enjoyed the news show, please do give it the thumbs up. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so. Come and join a brilliant community here on the Toon Review. But don't forget to hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we schedule the live shows or we upload any future videos. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. Take care.